Hey guys, this is IrnieracingNews, September 5th, 2023. I know I've been busy with the racing and the racing clips and editing behind the scenes. Let's do a little news here on Poland starts rounding up Ukrainians. So for the war machine guys, Poland says that it will round up Ukrainians of military age and extradite them in order to send them to war. Remember last year when the war began and Western countries congratulated each other for being so generous to Ukrainian refugees. So much for that. According to the Polish newspaper Autodeposit, about 80,000 Ukrainians are unaccounted for, having crossed into Poland when the war began. Now a Ukrainian president representative says this about those people. This is a large number of Ukraine because all these people can be mobilized to strengthen the ranks of the armed forces, thus strengthening our defense and security. Here we are on that website with the guy here from a stock photo with his Ukraine flag, his supporting the agenda cause that they don't know what they're supporting, because you're just supporting the war machine. You're supporting people being killed that you don't know, just slaughtered for no reason but political war machine. The political war machine. And it goes on to say, the Ukrainian authorities promised to search for them and then punish them. One person could cross the border even several hundred times, says the Lieutenant Anna Mishkazaspa, spokesperson for the Border Guard headquarters, and that means a lot of work for Polish prosecutors. It will not be easy to stop them, prosecutor Piotr from the regional prosecutor's office in Krakow tells the Rzeczpospolita, and he adds that these are people who have heard for several days that they are or will be wanted, or most likely some of them will hide and perform masking activities. And even if they are detained, it will be a long road to their release. In cases with Ukraine, the European arrest warrant does not work in European countries. Specific court communicate directly with each other regarding extradition. So extradition remains, and this takes months, if not years, says the attorney Kozmati, and he adds that many such Ukrainians are certainly already outside Poland. We are checking the situation at the National Prosecutor's Office. So run, everybody, run away from the war machine before they slaughter you in the meat grinder. It goes to show you that the safest Ukrainians are the one that ran away to Russia. How ironic. All these countries, we'll save you, refugees, we'll save you. I wonder how this affects refugees in Canada. You'll see them every once in a while on the dating app. I'm from Ukraine, in Canada. And, well, maybe you're going to get extradited back, so you should have gone to Russia. It would be the safest place. So back to the redacted. How will they find them? The Ukrainian prosecutor's office says that they will issue international arrest warrants for Ukrainian citizens abroad. Abroad, like throughout Europe. In the U.S., ? What about all those charities that accepted Ukrainian refugees? Do they have to send them back? Just like I mentioned for Canada. This is extreme irony in the fact that these refugees could be safer in Russia. Exactly what I was just saying. If we detain such a foreigner, for example, during a simple check on the road, our national police information system will show that he is wanted by the Ukrainian prosecutor's office because Interpol data feature there. Notice it says he. It's so funny to see he instead of they, it, who, what, because it's the men. Men are the ones that are forced to go to the front line and die with no training at an incredible difference of rate. What was it? I can't remember what the colonel said. We're almost like at 8-1 or 10-1 of dying Ukrainians versus Russians. Okay, so he is wanted by the Ukrainian prosecutor's office because Interpol data features there. We detain such a person, inform the prosecutor's office, and the court decides on the extradition. Polish police spokesperson Mariusz Zaka explained. Or Ukraine could stop attacking the regions that voted to join Russia. We're talking about the Donbass area. Agree to peace talks and let those people live. So just a little recap for anybody who's new to this. So there's been a civil war in Ukraine for quite some time. Now, in 2014, there was a coup funded and executed by the U.S. under the leadership of Victoria Nuland. You can look up this crazy woman, this terrible, terrible woman who has been in charge of this Ukraine for the U.S. for many, many years. And they instigated their own puppet regime. So they took out the president who was supportive of the Russian people in the east of Ukraine and who was democratically elected, I might say. And then there was a coup, right? Just, like a freedom convoy times 10 where people are actually getting injured and like an actual dangerous scenario like January 6th, but like real dangerous, lots of lives at risk. And instigates a puppet government run by the Ukrainian USA. And then since 2014, they've started attacking the Russian ethnic people in the eastern Ukraine. So Ukraine is from the USSR. So there's obviously Russian ethnic people that were in this new border that was created from the USSR. And so they're Russian ethnics. They speak Russian. They are Russian. They live in Ukraine, eastern Ukraine. Well, they're the ones that voted the other way. They voted for, having their own state, for joining Russia, they voted against the coup that happened, the Ukrainian-run regime. And they are being punished for it. So they started bombing the people of Donbass in the east since 2014 for the last decade. Estimated over 10,000 people killed. You can see evidence of the shells. They go and interview people in eastern Ukraine, and they can talk about it, and they can show the shells on the ground and what they're dealing with on being constantly attacked by the Ukrainian military. Can you believe it? The country you live in is trying to kill you. I guess we're all kind of experiencing a little bit about that with the recent last 3 years that turned into the last 3 years of crazy inflation. And so they asked Russia for help. They asked them for help. Please help us become a sovereign nation. We're being bombed. We're being killed. We're being attacked. And that was one part of the instigation for the war, along with, since World War II, NATO is not allowed to move 1 inch closer to the Russian border, just like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Well, guess what? The U.S. keeps sending up more missile bases so they can have a 1 or 5 minute attack point for missiles that hit Russia from Ukraine. They want to have them all along the border. And this is breaking the pact from the World War II and instigating pressure. No different than the Cuban Missile Crisis, but times 10 missile bases, not one in Cuba. It's no different than as if Russia or China had missile bases set up along the Mexican border. The U.S. would not stand for it. It would be another Mexican-Cuban missile crisis, right? And then, of course, all the biolabs that were proven there after the fact. So people are being slaughtered. The U.S. is setting up missile bases to have within, 1 minute hit times of Russia. And obviously biolabs and the most corrupt country, the huge money laundering, the biggest country for child slavery, child death, what would you call it? This is like the witch's brew. Like children are being like grown with no IDs, like no birth certificates, into a slavery system along with adults. And then you have the crooked Joe Biden's whole family, along with the Clintons, all connected to this for generations, guys. Anyways, this is Irnieracing News. Let's leave it at that. Cheers.